Good morning, everyone. I'm Jane Morgan, and welcome to the investor webinar for Arizona Lithium, a company focused on the sustainable development of the Big Sandy Lithium project in Arizona. Last week, the company announced the completion of a scoping study at Big Sandy, which confirmed that the project is well positioned to become a long-term lithium producer to supply the rapidly growing demand for electric vehicles in North America. The scoping study also confirmed the robust economics of the project, with the company continuing to fast-track the development of Big Sandy through AZL's recently established Lithium Research Center. Arizona Lithium is well capitalized to further advance the project, with current cash reserves exceeding $50 million. Today's webinar will be a Q&A session, so please use the Q&A function at the bottom of your screen. To tell us more about last week's release and to provide a company update, I am joined by Managing Director, Paul Lloyd.
Thank you, Jane. Good morning, investors and shareholders. We do appreciate the loyalty of our group of shareholders, and we haven't updated the market for some period of time, and I'm excited to be updating the market this morning in regards to the progress. Now, the more recent announcement in regards to the scoping study, we commenced the scoping study in February of this year, and we learned a lot from that scoping study, and we've now released that it is completed, and we're continuing and started additional studies in regards to the Big Sandy Lithium project in Arizona. So if we just take a step back and look at what we've got with Arizona Lithium, we have 3 directors, the minimum required for an ASX listed company. One of them is the original vendor of the project, being myself. He's heavily incentivized to get this project up and running. And we have a chairman, Barnaby Edgerton Warburton, who is an ex-broker from New York, but Australian born. He's back in Perth. He's a very successful businessman, and he adds a lot of value to our board. But more recently, we've appointed Matthew Blumberg, and he is based in New York. So for a company that's ASX listed and has a very large lithium project in Arizona, it's ideal to have a director based in New York, where all the funds are for US type projects. So that's really increased our visibility in New York and in the US in whole. And we now have a company that is well capitalized with in excess of $50 million in the bank, and that is bringing out opportunities for us in regards to the lithium industry. In addition, we are building the Lithium Research Center in Phoenix, in Tempe, just near the airport, and that has a budget of $5 million US. It will be state of the art, and there'll be no better project as a research center in the world. So we're getting people coming to us wanting to partner with us on the Lithium Research Center. So that is creating opportunities for us, and I look forward to updating the market in the future on some of those opportunities. We would like to be drilling our project. I get a bit of feedback from shareholders, sometimes very negative, sometimes very positive, and I appreciate all communications with shareholders, but I feel the pain as well. I am a major shareholder, and we are working very hard to get the BLM approvals in place. But I know the business better than anyone else, and this project is very large. We have a maiden resource of 320,000 tonnes of LCE, and as you would know, the LCE price is about $70,000 to $72,000 per tonne. So that's a substantial in-ground value. In addition, it's only over 4% of our land holding. So we know that we have a very large project out at Big Sandy. Infrastructure is a huge advantage. We just abut the highway, we have rail lines, we have gas, etc. And that was some of the advantages that came out in the scoping study. So what we have is a project that needs to fine-tune the processing technique. We know that the exploration risk has been minimized, but we need to know exactly how we're going to process the material. And that's where the Lithium Research Center comes in. And that's where we build our technical team around Brett Rabe in Phoenix. Brett has been working in the lithium industry more than nearly everyone else in the lithium industry. And his contacts in the industry and his knowledge is really world class. So we'll build a technical team around Brett, and also we'll complete the construction of the Lithium Research Center in Q1 of next year. So all investors like to see where's the news flow, how we're going to increase the share price. Well, we have a lot of other opportunities that have come up, and I can't detail too many of those today because they are subject to completion. But I'm very excited about the second or the last quarter of this current calendar year. And I hope that we will be updating the market in regards to the BLM, and we'll be back out there drilling. I did spend 10 years in the drilling industry and I love drilling. So I am more motivated than most to get out there drilling. So there's been a lot of questions on this webinar about exactly when we'll get that BLM approval. I'm extremely confident we will get that approval. I'm just not fully aware of the time which we will receive that. But it's we have been working with the BLM. We have a good relationship with the BLM, and it is getting close. I suggested Q1 this year in a previous presentation, and I don't want to put a time on it, but be rest assured that we are working extremely hard to get that approvals. But that will just give us an increased mine life on this project. As I said before, we've got 320,000 tonnes of LCE. That's about 12 years mine life for this project. So as we drill it out, maybe we get to say 50 years mine life with the approvals of 145 holes and the taking of a bulk sample. But the risk, I suppose, or the way in which we really prove this project up is on the processing side. So I just want to tell shareholders not to get obsessed with the drilling approvals. They are coming, and have a look at all the other work that we're doing on the processing. Jane, do we have any further questions in regards to the Big Sandy project?
We do. Thank you, Paul. And again, webinar attendees should use the Q&A function at the bottom of the screen. But you've answered a lot of questions on the BLM, but let me jump into some others. So there's a question here just requesting some information on whether the company has applied for any of the recently announced Biden administration government grants.
Yes, that's a good question. And we did spend some time and money looking at those Biden grants. They're just not ideal timing for us. The government doesn't give away money and just put it in your bank account. So you need to spend that money within a certain time frame. Some of the other projects in the US are further advanced than us in regards to their production profile. And so we decided to not spend too much time and effort on that, because we didn't think we would get to a stage where we might get a grant, but we couldn't spend the money in the required time. So we're very encouraged by our relationship with the state governments, the state government of Arizona and the federal. And Biden really is pushing the EV revolution and the electrifying the economy in the US. So for Arizona, we are in the right place at the right time. For people who go to Phoenix at all, you've got massive number of Teslas on the road, and everyone is very conscious of the EV revolution and renewable energy. So I don't see that the lithium that we'll mine at Big Sandy will ever leave the borders of Arizona. So you've got cell producers starting to turn dirt to build battery plants in Phoenix. So 2.5 hours drive south of our project. And you will find that some refining capacity will come into the state in a few more years. So the lithium industry, the EV industry, it's centered around the US. So it's a great place for us to be.
Thanks, Paul. You kind of just did touch on this now, but are you able to provide any updates on potential offtake agreements?
Offtake agreements is something that we haven't really focused on. From our point of view, they're non-binding, and they're not really of great benefit to us at the moment. We're well funded, And we do talk to a number of groups, and we think that something like that might happen over the next 12 months. But right at this moment, we are focused on the Lithium Research Center, get back out drilling and commence our further studies to fast track the Big Sandy project.
Thanks, Paul. So last week we announced that we completed the scoping study. Will we be releasing this to the market?
We have released that there were robust financial results, and obviously if the lithium price in the $70,000 per tonne stayed around that, most lithium projects would print money. I'm not sure it'll stay at that price, but let's see. I can't predict the future. But the ASX have very strict rules in regards to announcing scoping study results. So at this stage, we're not planning to detail any of those results, but just let the market know that they were very robust, and it gives us a launching pad to get into further studies and to fine-tune that flow sheet at the Lithium Research Center.
Thanks, Paul. Another one. So Brighthead has claimed overstaking on part of Big Sandy. Are you able to provide some context on this?
Yes, Jane. The Brighthead matter is advancing, and we're in negotiation with Brighthead in regards to a settlement. So I hope that we'll be updating the market in regards to Brighthead with a successful outcome for both companies before the end of the year.
Thank you. There's just another question here. So can you please provide an update on the Lithium Research Center?
Yes. So the Lithium Research Center, we did announce that we had signed the 5-year lease. It's a very large facility, and Brett is building that out as we speak. A lot of the lab equipment has arrived, and he's putting that in place, and the filter press, etc., is on order, and we should see that in operation by Q1 next year. So advancing very rapidly. It's very rewarding to go there and have a look and see what we're creating. And as I stated previously, a lot of people in the lithium industry are wanting to tour the Lithium Research Center and see how they can get involved.
So where does AZL plan to draw their water from, and what are the company's plans to overcome state, local government concerns for water scarcity?
Yes, so water in Arizona is a very important matter, and people would have seen the lakes drying up in the US around Phoenix and around Vegas, and so we have a project here that can have a very low environmental impact because of the nature of the deposit. It is near surface, and it's pretty much a strip mining type operation. So we will need water for the processing, but we are part of our flow sheet is to recycle that water, and so the impact on the water system will be minimal. We will need to buy some water rights from people in the general area, but I don't see that that is something that will hold up the project. We're not going to be a large water user in the area because of the nature of the project and how it is processed.
Thanks, Paul. Just another one. So what is AZL's plans to overcome the concerns by the Indigenous population?
That we would like to engage the First Nation people, and we just want to talk to them about what we're planning to do. But the focus is on getting the approvals for the drilling operation. We can talk about processing plants and mines, etc., and we'll engage the First Nation people at that time. But right at this moment, we just want to get the approvals to drill those 145 holes, and then we will engage all stakeholders at that stage.
Thank you, Paul. Sorry, I'm jumping around a little bit. There's quite a few questions coming through. So have you received any interest or feedback from battery manufacturers on the quality and size of the deposit?
Right. So the size of the deposit, I think, is pretty much a given, except that we haven't drilled it out. So we need to drill it out. But as I said before, we have 12-year mine life for at the current maiden resource. In regards to the quality of the product, we did produce battery grade lithium. with Hazen. So we have shown that we can produce a quality product at this project. There's some discussion in the lithium industry at the moment of midstream products, and is there a value add to actually go all the way to battery grade? You like to see that every project produces a quality project, but we are extremely focused on shareholder return with AZL. And so if we could produce an intermediate product that was in demand by the industry, which created a higher return on equity for our shareholders, then we would consider it. So that is part of our studies at the moment that we're looking into. So this is a new industry. This is not a mature industry. We're not talking about copper production. We're not talking about gold refining, etc. This is an industry that's evolving. It's very exciting because it's new, but there's new things happening every day in the lithium industry.
Thanks, Paul. Another one just on the Lordsburg project. Are you able to just provide an update on this one, please?
Yes. Lordsburg is a project that in our group we really like. It's a closed basin. It's a lithium brine project in New Mexico that's never been tested. And I was hoping that someone else might test the basin and save our shareholders' funds. But we are working towards testing that basin to see if it has lithium in the brines to an economic quantity. There's some good grades at surface, and the geophysics work has been completed, and we've done the drill targeting. So we're just looking at a few ways in which we can drill that project, and then we'll lodge with the Bureau of Land Management. It isn't our priority target. Big Sandy is very much our priority target. We're focused on that, and when our technical team have time, we throw them onto Lordsburg. But in the last 4 months, we've been very focused on what we have at Big Sandy.
Paul, just back to the Lithium Research Center. So what is the company's medium to long-term vision for this?
Yes. So in the medium term, in Q1, we start producing various products of lithium, lithium sulfate, etc., lithium carbonate, and at the Lithium Research Center in Phoenix. Then we would pass that on to potential purchasers, and that's where your offtakes would come about. In the longer term, it's something that we could, once we've fine-tuned our flow sheet and gone into further studies with Big Sandy, it could be an incubator for investment opportunities for our company, to the benefit of our shareholders, in regards to other projects that are in the US. Because we have the facility there, it's world-class. And so we see the Lithium Research Center being there for more than the 5 years, because it will be a great investment opportunity for AZL.
Thank you, Paul. Back to the BLM. So once the approval is granted, will Arizona Lithium commence drilling immediately, or are there other approvals or planning that's required?
Now, once we have BLM approval, this is a very simple drilling program. You're talking about 100-meter holes. We've drilled it out previously in a small area, and to just expand that footprint will be very simple. So we have the drilling contractor ready to go. So I would think that we'll be starting work straight very short time after getting approvals.
Thank you, Paul. Again, I'm jumping around a fair bit here. So has the company considered a US listing?
So we are listed on the OTCQB, and that has been an advantage for us. But as we grow the company, we have looked at various exchanges, and we're still assessing those. Some of our peers have gone onto the NASDAQ, and that would appear to be the route that we would take, but we haven't made any final decisions on that. But we are a very strategic board, and we do evaluate those type of opportunities to maximise shareholder returns.
Thank you, Paul. So are there plans for mass production of lithium carbonate at the research facility?
I think the word massive, is undefined, but we will produce a reasonable amount of LCE at the Lithium Research Center, but not for sort of a general profitable operation. It'll be for assessment by off-takers etc. And we would prefer to be then taking other people's ore and working with that company to advance our footprint in the lithium industry. So not insignificant amounts of lithium production from a dollar value point of view, but from a ton point of view, it'd be relatively small. But when you're producing a product that has a $70,000 per ton value, it mounts up very quickly.
Thank you, Paul. One more. So had there been any interest from battery or electric vehicle manufacturers for an investment in the company?
We get inquiries in regards to the company, investing in the company, investing directly into the project on a fairly regular basis from industry participants. So obviously they will all be subject to a CA, but this project is definitely on the radar of the investment community and the lithium industry, particularly in the US.
Thank you, Paul. And look, just finally, so what should shareholders look forward to over the next sort of 3 to 6 months? And maybe more so, what are you most excited about?
So I hate to lead off with the drilling approvals, but that will be a significant milestone when we receive the drilling approvals. I'm very excited about the Lithium Research Center, and I have a number of initiatives that I'll be updating the market with before Christmas that I'm sure the shareholders will find very exciting.
Wonderful. Well, thank you, Paul. That's all the questions we have for today. And if we have missed any questions, please feel free to reach out by the contact details at the bottom of our ASX releases. And a copy of today's recording will be available in the coming days, but we look forward to hosting you again soon.
Thanks, Jane, and thanks, shareholders. Thank you for your time.